What's up guys, Con out here. So today we got a special video for today. Trunk does not open, so here we got the trunk button. Nothing's going on. Button, and nothing's working, but it doesn't lock, so obviously the remote does work. So this is going to be a organic diag of this vehicle and the trunk not opening. All right, so let's get to it. So first thing you're gonna need to do is you're gonna need to get into the trunk, and if it's not working, we're gonna need to pop the trunk open. So you need to get in the back and do the manual release. All right, so now we got the trunk open. We're gonna need to take this cover off so we can get to the electronics for the trunk latch itself. All right, so now I have the cover off enough to get to this plug right here. And now we have the wires here. So I assume what is going to be is one of these is going to be a ground, which is probably the black. Purple is probably going to be a position switch, and green and yellow is probably going to be power. So when doing electrical diag, it's always important to know that the spot where you're getting your ground from is a good ground. So initially I had checked here for ground, and I was back probing this spot here, and I wasn't getting any voltage. So now I moved it to this spot here, getting 11 volts. So now I'm back probing the black wire, which should be ground, and it's at 0 volts. So now I'm back probing the purple wire, and it's a 12 volt. Okay, so now in this green and blue wire, I have no voltage whatsoever. All right, let me get the remote and see what happens when I press the remote. I had the wire back probe, and now I'm pressing the button, and we're not getting anything. So I'm here at the fuse box, and I have 66 trunk release. This is the trunk release 5-amp fuse. Okay, I'm gonna pull it out, and it is in fact blown. All right, so let's find a spare fuse and stick it in there and see if anything changes. Okay, so I don't see a spare fuse in here, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to borrow the 5-amp memory fuse for the seats, and we're gonna plug it into the trunk, see if it pops, which it didn't. Okay, and then we're gonna check our work. Hit the remote, and you see it pulsed to 11 volts for a split second. So it was in fact the fuse. As a dealership technician, if you were working on this car and you did all that and you found out it was just a fuse, you can make something up to get paid for it, or you can let the car go and you just made a loyal customer if you didn't charge them for doing a fuse. Granted, if it's this, then obviously you're gonna have to get paid to get this out. If it's a wire, then obviously you're gonna have to pay to replace the wire. But if it's just a fuse, just let it go. Just say it's okay, because now the person who owns this vehicle, they're gonna come to you because they know you were honest. So just something to keep in mind. Also, if you're a dealership tech and you have a car and customer states, hey, my trunk doesn't open, first thing you should be doing is to verify the complaint that this does in fact not work. And then secondly, you should go to the wiring diagram and check the fuse first without having to waste all the time to take this off. The only reason I did this is for educational purposes. Now, would this be the correct sequence of events to be checking a trunk actuator when it was a fuse the whole time? No, but for purposes of this video, I wanted to teach you what would happen if it wasn't the fuse. So if the fuse was good and we had 12 volts here, or that pulse that you saw from the 11 volts, then it would be the trunk lid actuator. So that's kind of what I wanted to show. So this was an organic diagnosis video. If this video did help you out, let me know so I can make more of these in the future.